Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where today I was playing with the Wilderness palette. This is one of the last videos in my anniversary series where I take a look from a year ago and I recreate it with today's skill set. So here is the original look from November of 2021, and this is my recreation with some slight variations to make it a bit more interesting from November of 2022. If you want to see how I did this look using only the Wilderness palette, don't go anywhere. If you are new here, hello, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom and I love to play with colorful eyeshadow. I upload 4 or 5 videos at least every week. It's all eyeshadow related content. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe before you go and hit the notification bell because there are a lot of uploads coming. Now without further ado, let's get going. So let's talk about this look of the month from last November. I know that I used the Wilderness palette because in my post I said blue and green look from the Wilderness palette. I was looking at it yesterday and I was trying to figure out exactly what I did. I'm pretty sure that I dipped into this shade and blended it out with this one, and then I used this shimmer on the lid. So for today's look, which I certainly hope is going to be better, for today's look I'm going to start with this shade and blend it out here. I might put this on the inner corner crease as well, just to bring in a little bit more lightness, and then I'll deepen and then use that shimmer as well, and then I may put a pop of color on the very inner corner just to make it a little more interesting. I might throw something else on the lower lash line as well, again to make it more interesting, because the look itself was not that impressive and it was very dark, and I don't want a really dark look. I want something that's a bit brighter and still in accordance with my inspiration picture. So I've already primed my eyes using the Glam Light Icing Primer in the shade White Frosting, and now let's get going. I really need to clean my brushes today. This is a large pencil brush. I don't often use this brush, but I'm taking it today and I'm dipping into the shade Marigold, which I'm placing at the inner corner. This is not a very light toned yellow. Obviously this is the darker, more earthy, warmer side of the palette, but I think that the Marigold shade will bring a little bit of interest anyway to the inner corner. So I'm putting this here in the crease. And now I've got the shade Eucalyptus on a thicker, larger, and denser blending brush. Well, it's not denser than the pencil brush I just used, but it's pretty dense. It's not a big fluffy blending brush. I'm going to place this in my entire outer corner and outer crease, and this will blend nicely into the Marigold shade. And I'm also going to use the Marigold to blend out this shade. I hope you guys have been enjoying my videos lately. I'm going to make sure that this one goes up in November, of course, even though I have November fully booked as far as video uploads scheduled. I can move something around or put it up as a bonus video, but hopefully you have been enjoying my uploads, because honestly I'm just loving it. I'm loving the process. I love to sit down and be creative with my eyeshadow, to take a little snippet of time in the morning before my little ones need me, and I really enjoy filming. I enjoy talking with you guys, especially when you respond in the comments. I am loving this little hobby of mine. It's so satisfying and fun. I'm going to take the shade Marigold with a larger and looser blending brush. This is actually about the same size as the dense one that I just used, except it's fluffier, so it's looser. So I'm going to dip into Marigold and the Snow shade. Snow is a very unsatisfying, matte, creamy sort of white shade. I'm going to use it to lighten Marigold, because now I want to use the Marigold shade to buff out these tones here. Because Marigold is definitely more of a medium matte rather than a light matte, it would be hard to use it to blend out something without going too dark up to my brow. I don't want to go too dark up to my brow, so I'm mixing it with the white, which you can always do. If there's a white matte in your palette, you can always mix it with a different shade to get a more pastel version of that shade. And I'm just hitting the edges of these two colors. But anyway, I hope you guys are really enjoying my videos, because I've been having a great time making them and uploading them and then connecting with you in the comments. It's so much fun. I have no shortage of ideas for videos or for color combinations, and I hope you're having as much fun as I am. Now I'm quite sure that I used the very darkest green in the palette, which is called Ivy, so I'm going to take a very stubby and short blending brush, dip lightly into Ivy, and just deepen this outer corner. I don't want to go too deep. I'm just going to add it on top of the Eucalyptus shade and make it a little bit deeper. Already I feel like this is way more green than my original look. My original look I probably blended into oblivion. honestly, because when I look at it, I see almost no color differentiation. I see a little hue of yellow and then sort of a dark gray green kind of outer corner, and I'm not entirely sure how I achieved that. I think it was just a lack of skill, and I just blended until all of the color had meshed together into one color, and it looked very murky, and not in a good way. Murky can look nice, but not necessarily in a way that I was happy with. Of course, I was happy at the time because I proudly shared it on Instagram, and I was like, look what I did with the Wilderness palette. Now looking back, I'm like, what did I do with the Wilderness palette? But at the time, I was happy with it because that's where I was. I love watching the journey. I'm delighted with where I am now. I look forward to where I will be eventually. And this is in any skill. You know, if you put the time into something, it's so satisfying to watch yourself learn and develop and improve. This is why I really like this anniversary series, because I can look back and recreate something from an entire year ago and do a way better job and see the improvement. Okay, so that's actually really lovely. The eucalyptus tone is more of a moss green, but now this ivy shade is more of a deep, cool tone forest depths as opposed to the warm tone moss. And when you put them together, it's almost the same, but it rounded it out a little bit, made it a tiny bit more interesting with the color depth and variation. I like that. I'm gonna grab a flat brush and take some shimmers. I've taken this flat brush and dipped into the shade Ocean. Ocean is the dark blue sort of shimmer in the palette, and I'm going to put this on my lid space. I'm going to start not in the full inner corner, but most of the lid. I think I'm going to brighten the inner corner with something else. So this is going to cover most of my lid, but probably not all of it. I'm putting this until it meets the green mattes. This is a really pretty color. Honestly, I don't at all remember doing my original look. I don't remember doing that inspiration picture. I just hunted back in my Instagram feed until I found one from this month rather. And I thought, there we go, that's different, I'll recreate that one. But I don't remember doing the look. I'm sure that at the time I was very pleased with myself for mixing the yellows and greens. Green and blue is easy to mix, but yellow and green was a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I'm pretty sure at the time I was quite delighted with my efforts. And again, that's okay, because that's where I was at the time. For this inner corner, my natural instinct is to grab the shade Ray, which is a very interesting whitish cream sort of shimmer, but it's got a lot of green in it and gold as well. But I actually think I'm going to be a little bit different and take the shade Fossil. So with the same flat blending brush, I'm going into Fossil, and I want to try that here at the inner corner. I think Fossil will tie into the warm tones nicely. And I'm putting this just on the inner, third of my lid space. I did not spray it, but I totally could if I wanted more shine. This is where I'm starting to deviate from the original look, I think. But it's okay. This is where I am now, and I have to wear it all day, so I want to like it. There are so many colors that I want to put on the lower lash line. I want to use the shade Forest, and I also want to use the shade Mint. And I also want to use the shade Leaf to bring in some of the warmth to match the yellow warmth at the very top of the look and kind of mirror that on the very bottom of the look. I don't know. They're all pretty. I think I'm going to take the shade Forest because I haven't used it as much as I've used those other two colors. And on my skin tone, to have the yellow, more warm tones under the eye can sometimes make me look a bit sickly. So I'm going to take a cool tone. This is the shade Forest, and I'll put it here on the whole lower lash line. Ooh, that's got some nice pigment. Look at that. That was just going into the pan once. It's a little untidy at the inner corner here, but I'll fix that. Now I'm going to take a small crescent-shaped blending brush. It's quite loose and fluffy. Go into the shade Mint and buff out the edges of this forest tone. This is bringing a much cooler color story to the lower lash line. Again, I have deviated from my original inspiration look because I don't think that at that time I was doing anything on the lower lash line. Once again, I'm dipping into the Snow shade for this inner corner, and I'm adding it to the green-blue aqua tones I just placed down, and it's making them like pastel versions of their original colors. I'm just doing this in here in the inner corner because I don't like the depth and the dark colors at my inner corner. I really like a light inner corner. That's nice. Okay, now I think I'll take a small pencil brush like this. I'm going to dip into the shade Ray, which I had debated earlier, and I'll spray it. And Ray I'm going to place as an inner corner highlight on top of that matte snow shade that I just laid down. That's the eye look for shadows. I'm going to take the shade Big Splash from ColourPop's Creme Gel Liners and tightline my waterline. I'll do some mascara, eyeliner, the works, and I'll be back in a second to show you how it turned out. All right, guys, here is how it all looks in the end. I think it's really, really pretty. Let me tell you what I did to finish. I did a black winged eyeliner, and then I put on some mascara. On the rest of my face, I don't have any bronzer, but I used this little Tyluce blush in the shade Vacation. And on my lips, I'm wearing the shade Cinnamon Roll from NYX Butter Gloss. And then I did take some of the Frose highlighter from BH Cosmetics, and I combined these two shades right here. That's the whole look. I think it's really pretty. I think it's really pretty. I also think it's really interesting because I never used to be comfortable combining warm tones with cool tones. And then I was watching a video by Angelica Nyquist once, and she was talking about how if you're doing a monochromatic color story, then mixing cool and warm tones is actually a really nice way to make a monochrome look a lot more interesting. So you could take cool tone greens and warm tone greens, and your whole look is green, but you've got this different variety and depth. And that was kind of eye-opening for me when it came to monochromatic looks. But now I'm to the point where I can blend out a cool toned blue, green, teal shade with a warm toned yellow, and it does take longer. It did take longer to blend the yellow and the green because there's so much disparity between the colors and the undertones. But it was beautiful. Like, the end result is so pretty and interesting. I think it's really lovely. I'm very happy with this look today, and I'm very happy with seeing my personal progress a year later. That's what I was doing then, and this is what I'm doing now, and it is so encouraging to me. I love it. I think it's so much fun. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Remember to check below in the description box for the entire Anniversary Series playlist if you want to see other videos where I look back a year and recreate the look. And check below also in the description box for links to everything that I'm wearing, everything that I can link, I will. A little bit of information about me, how to subscribe to my channel, Instagram, all that good stuff. If you like what you saw and you've never subscribed before, I hope you'll consider hitting the like, subscribe button, and the notification bell before you leave so you don't miss new videos, because I'm uploading a lot. And I will see you guys again very soon. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.